Okay. So, read the following extract from a short story. It focuses on the lives of Emma and Dexter, who meet at university and end up marrying. However, soon after Emma has a bike accident and dies. So, soon after their marriage, what happens is that Emma has a bike accident and she dies. Examine how the writer presents Dexter's grief in this extract. Grief means sadness. So, how the author has presented his sadness in the extract and how his father supports him. So, now there are two major things we need to take in context. First, Dexter's own grief. Second, how his father is supporting him. To help you answer this question, you might consider how the writer portrays the relationship between Dexter and his father. So, our keyword here is portrayal of the relationship between Dexter and his father. How he describes Dexter's feelings and observation about himself. Right? So, how is Dexter feeling about himself, his own self? How he comes to term with reality means how he finally says that okay, now how he accepts things, right? So how he has started accepting the reality. Right, now these are the things that we need to focus on when we are reading this. It's like our keywords. So when we are writing this answer, what we have to do is we have to make an introduction where we will just introduce this whole text and give our thesis. Our thesis would be how is Dexter feeling and how his father is supporting him. Just a little bit thesis of that. We can make our thesis after we read the text. Then we have to answer the question. This question would have three parts, means three body paragraphs. In first body paragraph, you will talk about the relationship between Dexter and his father. You will give some textual context that these lines show that Dexter and his father shared this kind of relationship. Second body paragraph, you will talk about Dexter's feelings. That this paragraph shows how he felt during that period of time. And third body paragraph will talk about acceptance. How Dexter has finally accepted his fate and he has come to terms with reality. Right? And then you will give a conclusion paragraph. Now, reading the text is it starts from here. It is starting from the middle of the story. It's not the complete story. It's not the complete novel. It's just the middle of the novel, and like a bit of I would say reference is given to us that it is about two people, Dexter and his wife Emily, who met when they were studying at the university. But then what happens is that after they get married, his wife dies, right? Emily dies. And now this paragraph is just talking about this extract that we have from that long novel. This is just talking about how Dexter feels. So, here Emily has died. The next thing that he knows for sure is that he is in the back of the car, curled uncomfortably on the back seat beneath a tartan blanket. He is in his car on the back seat and he's curled up almost as if, when we are feeling really sad or when we don't know what to do, we curl up because we need comfort. So this line shows that he needs comfort. So he pulls it tight around him. Despite the warm day, he can't seem to stop shivering. Now what has happened that he is pulling his blanket around himself, and see, blanket is supposed to give us warmth, right? And he cannot seem to stop shivering and it's a hot day. So he is feeling emotionally, physically really weak and realizes that it's the old picnic blanket which, along with the smell of the car's scuffed burgundy upholster, reminds him of family's day out. So that car was the reminder how he and Emily used to go out as a family. He sees the back of his father's head, fine silvery grey hair, neatly trimmed apart from the tufts in his ears. So this is like a little description of his father, that his father is old now. He has silver gray hair, which are neatly trimmed, and there is a little bit of hair, near his ears, basically. So that is the situation. This is the situation which he is in. You can picture that in your mind. Where are we going? I'm taking you home. Go back to sleep. This is probably Dexter. This is his father, who can see that Dexter is really shattered. For a moment, he considers arguing. Take me back to London. I am fine. I am not a child. But the leather is warm against his face. So he wants to, argue back. He wants to fight back. But he does not say anything because he is right now feeling comfort that he needs. He doesn't have the energy to move, let alone argue. So he has no energy. He is woken by the sound of the wheels on the gravel of the large, sturdy family home. So what happens? He sleeps in between. While they are traveling back home, he sleeps. In you come then, says his father. Soup for tea? And then he walks towards the house, tossing the car keys jauntily into the air as he goes. Clearly, he has decided to pretend that nothing out of the ordinary has happened, and Dexter is grateful for this. So now what happens is, look here. Now this is talking about his father. Now see, like Dexter's wife has died, and Dexter is really like he is depressed, right? And his father, what is he doing? He is doing as if everything is normal, so he is throwing the key up in the air and catching as if nothing has happened, right? And that makes Dexter feel a little bit more comforted. He is not constantly thinking about his wife now, right? He is feeling comforted. He is feeling better because of this. In the small downstairs bathroom, he inspects his face in the mirror. So now Dexter, if you remember in the question, we had this part, how he described Dexter's feelings and observation about himself. Now this paragraph that we will read talks about himself. The paragraph that we just read talks about Dexter and his father. So observation about himself is he inspects his face in the mirror, his bottom lip is cut and swollen, and there's a large yellow-brown bruise down one side of his face, probably because he was lying on that side of his face in the car. He tries to roll his shoulders, but his back aches because he was curled up in the blanket. Now his back is aching. The muscles stretch and tone. Now his muscles are also paining. He winces, then examines his tongue, uh, uh, ulcerous, bitten at the side and coated with grey mold. So his tongue, probably he has not eaten anything for a long time, and that is why his tongue is feeling a little bit weird. There are broken veins on his nose and cheek. He is drinking with a renewed sense of purpose. So when he takes the final sip of drink, like when he finally starts drinking, probably after a long time, he feels good. He feels renewed. He feels with a sense of purpose nightly and frequently during the day and has gained a great deal of weight. His face is podgy and slack, his eyes permanently red. So these are the changes that he makes about himself. How has he changed? He has gained weight. He has his tongue feels weird. His eyes are permanently red. His face is very stuffy. It's very podgy. Means very stuffy, fat, right? His muscles and his back hurts. Everything about him hurts. So he does not feel his best self. Then next paragraph, he rests his head against the mirror and exhales. So he is still looking in the mirror and he is observing all these things. In the years he was with Emma, he sometimes wondered idly what life would be like if she weren't around. Now he thought about the time when Emma was alive. Now he is going back to memory when Emma was alive. So he thinks what I used to think, when I was sitting alone, how would my life be when Emma is not around? Not in a morbid way. Morbid means very negative way, very sad way. Just pragmatically means very practically. He used to think it very practically that how would I manage everything and how would that happen, but he never thought it in a very bad manner, not in a negative manner, because don't all lovers do that? So when you are a couple with someone, you usually your lives depend on each other, right? Your mom and dad, for example, their lives depend on each other. Now, so he basically says that I used to think about it, that how my life would be without Emma, right? What would I do? How will I manage everything? And mostly all lovers do that. Wonder what he would be without her. Now the answer is in the mirror. Now he could see himself and get his answer, that this is what I am without my wife. Loss has now endowed him with any kind of tragic grandeur. It has just made him stupid and banal. So now, whatever he used to think pragmatically, that when my wife will die, probably I will do this, I will do this. Now, all that is of no use, because in reality, nothing of that sort is happening. Now he's just sad. He's just curled up in his bed with a blanket, and he cannot do anything because he's so sad. I mean, he is devastated that he cannot even get up and move. Without her, he is without merit or virtue or purpose, a shabby, lonely, middle-aged drunk, poisoned with regret and shame. So now, without her, he has no purpose of his own. That's what he feels, at least. That, I am worthless. I am just a middle-aged, lonely man, and I just drink all day, all night, so that I don't feel that sad. And he never thought, when Emma was alive, he never thought this way. He never thought that, he would be this sad. He just thought, he used to just think that, okay, I will probably manage my finances in some way, so on and so forth. But in reality, it is not like that. In 2 weeks' time, he will be 41, and his father is helping him into the bath. So imagine a 41-year-old man. He is so depressed that he cannot even move by himself, and his father is helping him take a bath, right? Feeling better then, his father stands behind him. So see, this line in itself, the father is standing behind him, shows that his father is supportive. He is extremely supportive. He's also not, probably asking him that, oh, okay, your wife died, now move on. He's not even saying that. He's being supportive. He's acting as if everything is normal. It's not that big of a deal. Everything is normal, and he is acting in his normal self. A little, he says. So this guy, he says that I am a little better. What's that? He nods towards Dexter's pint glass. Gin, is it? Now Dexter has a glass of some alcohol. His father asks, is it gin? He says, no, just water. So it's not gin. Gin is also transparent. It looks like water. Glad to hear it. I thought we'd have soup tonight, seeing as how it's a special occasion. So his father is sort of, joking around. He wants Dexter to feel good. He does not want him to feel bad, or maybe, to feel sad. So he makes a joke that I thought we'll have soup tonight because, it's such a occasion of celebration because you're not drinking today. You are just drinking water. So it's such a celebration because from past few days since your wife died, you have been drinking and drinking and drinking. And today that you're not, it is an occasion for celebration. Then he says, I think so. His father holds two tins in the jar, mulling or cream of chicken. These are the types of soups. So he asks him that which one would you want? So the two men shuffle around the large musty kitchen, a pair of widowers making more mess than is really necessary in warming 2 cans of soup. Now see, both are widowers. The father also does not have a wife, and Dexter also does not have a wife. So now these two widowers, they are making mess in the kitchen because usually wives are there to, cook food and everything. Men, they don't really know how to cook that much, like at least majority of men, right? So they are making more mess than is necessary in just warming up 2 cans of soup. They are not even making it, they are just warming it up. So this is to become an annual festival, do you think? I don't know yet. Some time passes and his father turns back to the muted TV. So annual festival because, Dexter is going to get sad whenever each year it's her wife's death anniversary. And then there would be one time during that year when they both will meet, and his father will sort of console him, comfort him, and he just mocks around, right? It's just a joke that, now this is going to be our annual ritual or something. I'm sorry, says Dexter. What for? Well, you had to put me in the bath, so he says that I'm really sorry that I'm like this, that I'm so dependent on you. His father smiles and glances back at him. I really don't want to have a heart to heart. So his father says, right now, I don't want to talk about emotional things. It's fine. Do you? He says, I'd rather not. So Dexter says, even I don't want to talk about emotional stuff because I'm not in that position. Well, let's not then. Let's just say I think the best thing you could do is try and live your life as if Emma were still here. So he says that, just imagine if Emma was still here, how would your life be? And just imagine like that. Don't you think that would be the best? I don't know if I can. Dexter says, I don't know. Well, you'll have to try. They sit and watch the TV in the light of the summer evening in a room full of family photographs, and to his embarrassment, Dexter finds that he is crying once again, very quietly. Now just see, the whole room that they are sitting in is full of all the family pictures. And suddenly Dexter cannot even concentrate on TV, right? The TV, he cannot concentrate on whatever is coming. So he starts crying again very, very quietly, and he is embarrassed by it. Discreetly, he puts his hand to his eyes, but his father can hear the catching of his breath and glances over. So he tries to hide his crying, but his father can hear it. Everything all right there? He asks. Sorry, says Dexter. Not my cooking, is it? So again, if you see, his father is, making a mockery. He's saying, I hope it's not my cooking. It's not the soup that's making you cry. Dexter laughs and sniffs. This makes Dexter a little bit, happy. Yeah. Still a bit drunk, I think. It's all right, says his father, turning back to the TV. Silent witness is on at 9. So, silent witness is just like a metaphor that his father is also a silent witness to, his son's, I would say, sadness. Okay. Right? Now you need to write the answer the question that was there. So let us go back to the question again. How the writer portrays the relationship between Dexter and his father. So I probably feel that they have a very supportive relationship. His father is extremely supportive. He knows how to make Dexter feel good. And he is sort of, cracking jokes in middle, so that Dexter is not feeling too let down. He wants to be there for Dexter. He wants to have his back. And you can also put the part where his father helps him to bathe, right? So he is all in all very supportive. Dexter, on the other hand, he does not want his father, he does not want to cry in front of his father, basically, right? So that is the relationship. How he describes Dexter's feelings and observations about himself. So remember that part where he was looking into the mirror and he was thinking and looking at himself. So he was in a pretty bad space and he was observing his facial, features, that how bad he looks, how, he has gotten fat and everything. So you have to talk about that part here. Plus, you can also talk about how he used to think that, that without Emma, he used to think very practically about his life before, right? That what will he do after Emma? But now that the time has come, he is feeling devastated. He is not even able to move. His father has to come and help him even to bathe him, right? And also, this is one point, that mirror paragraph. Also, the second point is that he is pretty embarrassed to cry in front of his father. So he has, even hidden his face completely, right? So that is the second part that you can write. Then how he comes to terms with his reality, it is because of his father. His father tells him that, you have to try and imagine that, she is still here, and just try and imagine to do like this and you'll be over it, right? So that is one point you can add. Second point, his father is sort of, trying to joke with him. And this is how, he is trying to come to reality. Before, he was, you can also like point here how he was drinking alcohol to numb his pain, right? But eventually it seems like, at the end of the paragraph, where I think here, where his father says still a bit drunk, he is coming, he is sort of drinking, he's constantly drinking, he's into alcohol and everything to numb his pain. So this last paragraph shows basically how he is trying to come to reality. Is he will get come to reality for sure, because this last ending is pretty positive, right? That his father is making jokes and he laughed at the end, and this was the first time in this extract that he finally laughed, right? So he laughs, and but he is still a little bit drunk, which shows that probably it will take some time, but then he is going to get normal again, right? And he says it's fine, he says his father, and they watch the TV, which is silent witness. That's it. And that's how you need to complete your answer and then put a conclusion at the end. So in introduction, these three different body paragraphs, and finally a conclusion.